I want to take you back now to Pittsburgh, site of a tragic shooting this morning that claimed the lives of 3 officers. There you see them on your screen. We want to go to Rick Earl of affiliate WPXI. He joins us now with the details. And Rick, it is a tragic story. We've heard this is the first time in 15 years that an officer has lost his life there. What are you hearing from the ground?
That's right. I think the last time was 1995, I believe. But this is the first time ever that 3 officers lost their lives in one incident like this. And people here are just devastated. The mayor at a news conference here this afternoon called it a great, tragic loss, an act of senseless act of violence here in the city of Pittsburgh. They are still trying to come to grips with what happened here. One police officer told me basically these officers were ambushed early this morning. They were responding to what they thought was a domestic dispute between a son, a 23-year-old man, and his mother. The 2 officers arrived on the scene. They walked up to the house. Right as they got to the doorway, the suspect, 23-year-old Richard Poplawski, opened fire from a window in the house, and he just began shooting at those 2 officers, shooting them in the head, killing both of them. And an officer who had just gotten off duty, he had worked an overnight shift. It was just after 7 o'clock this morning, and he was actually driving home. He lives about 2 blocks from the scene of that shooting, and he was actually driving home to his house. He heard the frantic call for help from his fellow officers, and he frankly raced to the scene at that point to try to help his officers. Yeah, he went there to help them, and when he arrived, he was shot and killed. So he was the 3rd officer shot and killed.
Hey, Rick,
2 other officers injured. Yeah.
I want to ask you this because we've heard several reports about whether or not the gunman was upset because he lost his job, or he wasn't, maybe he was a day laborer of some sort and he wasn't getting work, and he felt embarrassed about losing work. What do you know about that?
Yeah, you know, a lot of that information is just beginning to come in. We do know some stuff about his background. We know that there have been domestic disputes at that house before. The police chief here said that police have been to the house. He wouldn't say how many times, but they have been there for prior domestic disputes. We also know that at one point this young man had enlisted in the Marine Corps, but he had so much trouble he was actually kicked out of boot camp. So he was booted out of boot camp, and then we also learned that he was actually kicked out of a local high school here when he was a teenager in high school. So he's had some obvious documented troubles.
And Rick, real quickly, because we've got a lot of news to get to here, but I want you to answer this for me. We've heard that he was concerned that someone was going to take his right to bear arms away. Have you heard that?
No, I mean, we have spoken with some people who have indicated that potentially, but that was just 1 or 2 people off the cuff. We don't have any documented information or confirmed information from police about that.
Yeah. Hey, great reporting. Rick Earl, affiliate WPXI. We appreciate